Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your Sunday edition of Inside Hope up here at Hatcher Church, 2300 Dumbarton Road. My name is Shay. What we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to go around the room, but we're going to go around the yard and say your clean date and who you are. So we'll start to my left.
Cody, I'm an addict, seeking long-term recovery. My clean date is, I want to say 6/20. That's what it is.
All right. Well, my name is Brandon. I'm an addict. My clean date is June 1st of this year, 16. And I've been in Monkey, in Rico West and East. Just got out of Chesterfield County this past Monday on the 20th. And I will share about that later. Pass to my left.
I'm Kurt. My clean date is February 22nd, 2016. I've been locked up in Pamunkey, Richmond, Rappahannock. Yeah.
I'm Mason. My clean date is June 13th, and I've been locked up in Harrisonburg and Henrico West.
I'm Eric. Clean date's December 17th, 2014. Person long-term recovery. What that means for me is I found a new way of life.
That's right.
Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing.
And my name's Shay. My clean date is September 19th, 2015. I've been locked up in Henrico, Richmond, and multiple other places. So today, we got some special requests about what some of the guys wanted to hear about. So we're going to talk about accountability, some of the first things you should do when you come home, and we're going to get into the whole higher power piece. I guess we're going to start off with what you did when you first went home, or when you first came home, and how it helped you, what you should have done, what you could have done better, things of that nature. So we're going to start off to my right with Eric.
So I'm Eric.
Hey,
Eric. I think I did everything I was supposed to do. But more importantly, while I was locked up, by the way, I did time in Pamunkey, started their program. I've done the RISE program. Never been to the city or Chesterfield, but I did enough time in the other two places to accommodate all of them. But the main thing was when I was behind the walls is I devoted myself to finding a higher power that worked for me. And I did a lot of searching to find that. You know, I wanted to get better. I wanted a new way of life, so I had to work for it. It won't just gonna happen by sitting there and waiting for me to get out. I had to prepare to get out. And what I mean is I try to find what a new belief system that works for me, that would get me free from all the guilt and shame and all those negative feelings I had to get out of that in order to get out of my addiction, my active addiction. So even though I wasn't using, I was still in active addiction thoughts. So once I did that and I got out, I applied myself. I showed up to a meeting the first day. I tried to get, I've gotten to know a lot of people in recovery, the people outside of recovery, like on social media, Facebook and all that. I am not ashamed to say that I'm an addict and what I'm going through, and I put all my business out there because I ain't got nothing to hide no more. Before I wouldn't do social media because I had stuff to hide. Well, I can do it now because I ain't got nothing to hide. And I'm proud of who I am. I've come out the darkness and into the light, the darkness of active addiction and into the light of life. And, it's amazing how my higher power works in my life on a daily basis. And I'm able to recognize it because I'm clean and sober. Before I might get a blessing, but I wouldn't even recognize it. And if I don't give God of my understanding credit, then he's not going to continue to do those things for me. Just like anybody, if you don't thank me for doing something, then I'm not going to do it for you anymore. Well, my higher power works the same way. And I've stayed connected to the recovering community. Again, I tell every single person, the first thing I say is, I don't drink or use drugs. And right then, that sets a tone of our relationship from then on. they're not gonna expect me to do it. They might ask me questions like forever, and I'm like, I don't know, just for today I'm not. And you know, until I get my license back, but by then I don't know. You know, why would I use if I've gotten everything back? Why would I use again? That would be stupid. That would be wanting to go back to the same old crap, which is right behind the walls. And I'm done with that. And the only way I can stay out of there is not to use, and to be thankful for what I do have, and not, you know, not worried about what I don't have, because as soon as that's negative thinking as well. You know, another thing, he said accountability. When I tell everybody that I meet that I don't drink or use drugs or do anything, that makes me hold myself accountable, because if I were to do it, look at what kind of idiot I would look like. And I'm the type of guy, I don't really want to make myself look like an idiot. So thanks for letting me share.
Share.
I'm Mason. I'm an addict.
Mason.
This last time when I relapsed, I'd been here for 5.5 months, and I came and I relapsed and got arrested. And then, as soon as I got out on bond, I came right back here, because before I'd just come here just because I had suggestions that it was the right place to go and all that kind of stuff. But this time, I got out and I realized that when I was using, my quality of life was a completely different thing than when I hadn't been, because I had been clean for 5.5 months before that. And and I also before I got my bond, was sitting in jail and just thinking about it. And before, when I had relapsed, I was going back and forth like, oh, maybe I can use successfully, maybe I'm not as much as an addict or that I think I am. But so I was sitting in jail just thinking about it, and I mean, I only relapsed for like 2 days before I got more charges and got locked back up. And people that don't have this disease can use without getting consequences that quickly. I mean, I just went too far too quick with it, and I mean, it just made my life shit for the last 2 days, and that was the last time I used. And so I got out of bond and came straight here, and it's just been a lot better than previous times when I would just get out and go back to doing what I was doing. So yeah, being in recovery has helped my life improve a lot. Getting relationships with everybody back, and just, I don't know, living a better life. Thanks for the share.
I'm Kurt. I'm an addict. First of all, I want to read y'all this. If y'all haven't read it yet, it's just for today. It's surrendering self-will, and it kind of goes in what we're talking about, accountability and the higher power. Our fears are lessened and faith begins to grow as we learn the true meaning of surrender. We are no longer fighting fear, anger, guilt, self-pity, or depression. Surrender is the beginning of a new way of life. When driven primarily by self-will, we constantly wondered whether we'd covered all the bases, whether we'd manipulated that person in just the right way to achieve our ends, or whether we'd missed a critical detail in our efforts to control and manage the world. We either felt afraid, fearing our schemes would fail, angry or self-pitying when they fell through, or guilty when we pulled them off. It was hard living on self-will, but we didn't know any other way. Not that surrender is always easy. On the contrary, surrender can be difficult, especially in the beginning. Still, it's easier to trust God, a power capable of managing our lives, than to trust only ourselves, whose lives are unmanageable. And the more we surrender, the easier it gets. When we turn our will and our lives over to the care of our higher power, all we have to do is our part, as responsibly and conscientiously as we can. Then we can leave the results up to our higher power. By surrendering, acting on faith, and living our lives according to the simple spiritual principles of this program, we can stop worrying and start living. Just for today, I will surrender self-will. I will seek knowledge of God's will for me and the power to carry it out. I will leave the results in my higher power's hands. You know, for me, I've been battling addiction my whole life since, you know, I first picked up the drugs when I was 13. I'm 28 now. You know, I started shooting heroin at 16. I've been locked up all my childhood. I pretty much was raised in the court system. You know, and I was raised in the church, Irish Catholic and everything. And, you know, for me, it's God. But what I'm trying to say right now is the fact that, you know, some people get scared. Some of you in there may not have a God of your understanding. You may not believe in a higher power, but I'm here to tell you, like, that's okay. Like, when you come out here and you finally start to follow these principles and you start to act them in your everyday life and follow these these simple suggestions and stuff, like things will start happening that you can't explain. You know, every day that we stay clean is a miracle. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I was a hell of a drug addict and I was really good at it. You know, the last bid I did was 2.5 years. I came home and I thought, okay, let me go out and try. I can still drink successfully, you know. I'm a heroin addict, so I'll still be able to drink, you know what I mean? It'll be okay. I can handle it, you know. And how wrong was I, you know what I mean? So my mom died 2 months after I got out, and that really hit me hard, you know. And so then I kept drinking, and it's like right after that, that whole thinking of self-will and what I want and I can do this, because my ego is so big and inflated that I don't want anybody to tell me what to do, because I can figure it out for myself, you know what I mean? I'm hard-headed, you know. I got to be knocked down a whole bunch of times to be able to get the picture, and that's been the story of my life, you know. And when I finally relapsed on my drug of choice and I overdosed, I ended up right back in there with y'all, and I've never felt so shitty in my life. Out of all the dirty things I've done in life, like the shitty things, that last time in jail, I don't know, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I sat there in A unit and fucking Pamunkey bawling like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it felt so bad, because I came out here and I had a taste of what life really meant and what life really was, and how my higher power, which I choose to call God, has given me. And you know, when I embrace that and I look around and see the surroundings and everything, and my higher power works through other people. Like, if I'm going through something and I don't know the answer to it, I'll put it out there on the floor for somebody else, because they've been through it and they'll be able to use their experience to show me. And you know, and that in my eyes is God working through somebody else. You know, this program is pretty freaking simple. You know, you do the steps, you get a sponsor, you get a home group, you come here and you fucking do the next right thing, and little miracles start happening. Like, and it may not be something huge, but just the fact that you can be clean and sober enough to have them materialize in front of your eyes and be able to recognize it for what it is, and that's a spiritual experience. And to have faith, like, I don't care how many fucking shitty things you've done, like, if you just have faith in your higher power and you just give your fucking will to him and surrender every day like I do, at least for me, my day, no matter how bad it's going, always turns out good. Somebody once told me that you can start your day over at any time. You know what I mean? And that every time my day starts going south, I sit back and I'm like, I close my eyes and I'm like, all right, did I remember to pray? Did I remember to surrender today? You know, and every time I do it, it just gets better. I mean, I could sit here and talk for days and days and days on you know, what God has done for me in my life. But it's amazing, you know, and I want y'all to experience this. Like, I want you to be able to see that there is a new way of life. Like, I mean, if a drug addict like me can stay fucking clean, dude, I'm telling you, any of y'all can fucking do it. It's hard at times. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I still fucking have thoughts of using. I mean, you know, I'm scared. I'm fucking selfish sometimes, you know. I'm fucking self-centered. I mean, all that shit resurfaces in other areas of your life when you take the drugs out of it. And it's like, that's why we do the steps, though, to get deep in there and to mend that things and to be able to recognize why you're acting the way you're acting and your behaviors and stuff like that, you know. And that's the freedom comes from working the steps, you know what I mean? And I can honestly say, for today, just for today, I haven't had a desire to use at all today, you know. And to me, that's a miracle. So come out here and check it out and actually put some effort into it, you know. You put so much effort into getting high all these years, why not try something different? Just saying. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing. My name is Brandon. I'm an addict. And now, what Kurt just said nailed it. I don't even know how I can follow something like that. I mean, my story is kind of identical to that. Since I started using drugs at the age about 13, 14, there was no stopping. And, you know, just progressed from one thing to another. You know, I just got done doing 14 months there in El Pod and Monkey. And I got out in February at the end of February, and like Kurt said too, you know, I got a good taste of what recovery was like. And for me, like, that means I can't get high no more, no matter how much drugs I use, you know. And I had my taste of a relapse as well, and I realized that how progressive, you know, my disease was when I was doing that. You know, I thought that, you know, my self-centeredness and my ego thought that I could get away with it just that one more time, just that one more. You know, I could start doing that. I could start drinking like you did, or like you said. You know, it's like I went out to a bar and I thought I could sing some karaoke and have some fun and drink a couple beers and it's gonna be all right, you know. And I give someone a ride home and they want to go pick up a bag and then, bam, I'm off. You know, and that first time I have a choice, but after that I have to. And I know that I'm an addict and I know that I'm gonna want to use no matter what, all the time. But I know if I stay in recovery that I have a chance to arrest that desire, to try to stop that, man. Because I know when I'm sitting in those chairs that y'all are sitting in right now, I do not want to use. You're sitting there like, what did I do to get into this position? Some of y'all probably do want to use, you know, and I'm hoping that y'all get a taste of it before y'all it's too late. I got out and I realized how good it could be out there, and I realized that when I have those bad times, I need to go to meetings. When those good times come, I need to go to more meetings, and I need to get into more recovery when those things happen, because I started getting this inflated ego, and I started thinking that I got things figured out, and I can do what I want to do, and I could do what Brandon wants to do, because, you know, I've been doing my whole life, you know, that way, and this is where it's gotten me, you know. I mean, it's sitting in jail cell to jail cell. You know, I've done almost 6 years of my life in jail, in and out. I just got out of Chesterfield. I got out, thought I was doing well. You know, I got my truck back, license back, job back. You know, I figured I could move out the recovery house, do my own thing. Went out, drank, and then went right off 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. Didn't listen to anybody. Didn't call a sponsor. Didn't work any kind of steps. And I'm telling you, it was a miserable feeling. It's nothing good about it. If you get out and you try to do it, it's inevitable. There's only 3 places that it's going to end up in. They say jails, institutions, and death. They don't write that in the books for nothing. You know, I used to look at these books, these basic texts in our literature, and I used to be like, man, these stupid ass cliches, man, they don't fucking mean nothing, man. Just keep it simple. It's really it's a simple program for complicated people. I'm a complicated motherfucker, man, because I overthink everything. I try to put loopholes and everything. I try to find a loophole with the addiction part. I try to find a way that I can get around and I can sneak around it. No one's going to find out. And if they do find out, then hell, I'll just go back to a meeting and it's going to be all right. You know, and I was doing it for the wrong reasons before, too, because I had a lot of people that were kind of pressing me into the matter. They said, hey, you better go to a meeting, you know, and we're going to not talk to you anymore. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose my friends that I had in here, because, in all honesty, I actually had some real friends that really cared, that really loved me, you know, out here. I was willing to throw all that away for, you know, for what, you know? I don't even get high anymore, you know? I no matter how much dope I do, or how much crack I smoke, how many pills I do, man, there ain't no getting high, you know? Because I got that seed of recovery planted now, and I know where the better life is. I mean, I had a blast today, and like, we hung out all freaking day, going go-karting, go to the river. I'm sunburned. You know, I don't got that fluorescent tan anymore, you know, sitting in that dorm or in that pod right there, man, freaking looking crazy as a bitch. Man, I'm just so grateful, man. I lost my gratitude, too. That's another big thing, you know. I thought that the world owed me something back, you know. I thought that, you know, it was just like an entitlement issue, like a little boy almost, you know. And I don't want to call myself that, really, you know, but it's like, that's kind of what it is. Stuck in that mentality to where I was when I first started using. I don't know, it's sick as hell. But there's a way, there's a better way, and I'm experiencing that. And for some reason, you know, it's like there's those fleeting urges, man, and unless I do something about it, and unless I admit and take accountability for that, and pray to my higher power for that will, that self-will to be taken away, and for his will to be placed into my life, then I'm bound for that destruction, because I got that self-destruct button. When I'm doing really well, it's like, okay, Brandon, here we go, boop, you know? And I used to have a good 3 or 4 month shelf life where I could get out and I could rip and run for 3 or 4 months. Then I get a violation, then I get put back in jail. I was out there using for like 10 days. Chesterfield picked me up. Out there for 10 days going, but I mean, I went out there 100 miles an hour. They picked me up. I was encouraged by people to come in here. Now I'm encouraged by the courts to come in here. Strongly encouraged, for that matter. You know, to stay in this program. Taking the willingness part too, a little bit about that. I just want to share a little bit about that when I get back before I pass. Is the fact that I am willing and I am humble now to the fact where I handed my truck keys over. I took my cell phone. I don't have a cell phone on me. I've been out for a week now. I don't have a cell phone. It's activated, but it's in a lockbox in my house manager's thing, in his little box. I have a truck, but my keys are in that same box. I have the ability to go and do what I want, but I have the desire to stay here and get clean. It's not about what I want today, you know. I realize that I can't live my life the way that I want to. I know how to live where y'all are at. I know how to do that. I know how to bid. I can do that. I got someone cooking for me, cleaning for me, doing whatever. It's all good. All I gotta do is wake up and wipe my own ass. You know? Out here, I gotta make decisions, man. I get into a grocery store and I'm like, holy shit, there's 25,000 different types of toothbrushes. You know what I mean? I don't even know what the hell. So I mean, it's just a whole new, better way of life. You know what, you want to be out here in the outside, smoking a cigarette, looking at the trees. Man, it's so much better out here. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing.
Cody.
Hey,
Addict. When I first got out the program, I got out like 3 months ago, I think. First got out the program, went back to the house, gave it like a couple months. Next thing you know, I wanted to get everything back so fast, you know. That's how we are. We're very egotistical people that, as addicts, that like we just, you know, we want everything right now. Right now, we want it all back. I want to go back to doing me, you know. And reality is like doing the disease, not even doing me. The disease is doing me. But basically what happened was I ended up relapsing. Started hanging out with the wrong people again. They tell you stay away from different people, different places. I'm pretty sure that's the last time I heard somebody tell me that too when I got out. So I started hanging out with the wrong people, you know, doing this, doing that. Next thing you know, I'm relapsed. Then you know, I get my little drugs in me, and then, you know, I told myself, oh, you know, I'm gonna just stop doing it and drink water, pass the drug test, and then just do me, you know, try and just get back to living a normal life, and try and like, you can see, I thought I could use on the side, you know, thought I can get high a couple times in the, you know, and do this and do that, and drink water, pass drug tests. Nobody knows. And basically what happened was, like how Brandon said, I'm the type of addict where once I get high, I'm getting high. Everything I do is gonna revolve around when I'm getting high, what I'm gonna do to get high, and I'm gonna plan it out to the T, or at least I think I plan it out to the T. And then usually, just about 90% of the time, my little plan crumbles down in front of my face. Cause then that one time getting high on the weekend turns into an everyday thing. All of a sudden, I'm quit tomorrow. I'm gonna quit tomorrow. I'm gonna quit tomorrow. I'm gonna quit tomorrow. I'm gonna just stop it tomorrow. I'm gonna stop tomorrow. And then next thing you know, life shows up. I'm back. You know, I'm back in the same position that I was when I first came in, day one, all over again. And it's crazy, man. This disease is so crazy. Seriously, very insidious disease. It'll creep up on you. It's wild because it takes over your whole way of thinking. The second you start getting high, your whole way of thinking that you learned and built up in months of recovery, or staying clean, or working, or whatever you're doing, all that goes out the window. You getting high. And everything, for me at least, once I get high, like I said, all that shit goes, and I'm right back, you know, I'm right back. Well, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? Hanging out with these people, that people, trying to hit licks, do stupid shit like that, and it just deletes everything in like fucking a split second. So basically, what I think I got to do this time is try to really find out what's really important, man. And what's really important, but also don't take shit for granted. Don't ever take shit for granted. And keep making every day, try to make every day better than before. Because that's one thing I always do. The first week in recovery for me always fucking sucks dick. After the first week, I started to get in my little zone. Started to get my ball rolling a little bit. But I think I need to really stay away from the same old people and places and things. And that's the main thing I gotta do. And I also gotta reevaluate every day and not think too hard about what I'm doing. Because for me, at least, I overthink everything, overcomplicate everything. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And then I try and manipulate every little outcome of the situation. And it's fucking crazy. It's some crazy ass shit. Seriously, some crazy shit. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never be like that until I started getting high, like on the hard drugs. You know what I mean? And I look back and I'm thinking like, this is some fucking crazy shit. Shit, it's hard. But I just need to take it one day at a time. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. Hey everybody, my name's Shay.
Shay.
Man, y'all had to do something different, right? I'm 28 years old, and y'all the last 10 years, I've done about 7 years incarcerated, right? So I can definitely relate with everybody watching this video. When I first got introduced to recovery, there was a New Kent County jail. I was the guy that sat in the back and made fun of everything that was going on. Y'all took life for a joke, right? But I was in that program for like 15 months and came home. And everything went out the window. Like all the readings that I had memorized, all the suggestions that people gave me, I left it at the door, right? And I hit the ground running, right? Getting high has not been the same for me since. A body full of drugs and a mind full of recovery does not mix, right? The high is not the same. So for all the guys that's sitting back, be like, man, this shit don't mean nothing, they gonna beat it into your brain, and it's not gonna be the same. Like, you gonna know that there's something better out there for you, right? I came home, and my first day, before I went and got a pack of cigarettes, before I went and seen the girl, I came to the McShin Foundation, talked to a good friend of mine, and I put in for my bed. Like, the girl was still there later on that night. The gas station still sold cigarettes afterwards, right? My family was still at home waiting for me. It was just something that I had to do, right? I had to do something different. And had I not would have came up here, who knows where I'd be at right now, right? Like they said something about the cliches and how the program is so simple. I make things complicated, right? Because y'all know what I want, and I'll do anything to get it. Man, my disease tells me that y'all want what I wanted when I want it, right? Like, I don't have no patience. Y'all want instant gratification with everything that I do. Like, once I start working, y'all want to get my own place that week, right? Y'all want to start driving that week, right? I start talking to one of these ladies. Y'all want to start talking to some of these women, and that's what I want right now. Like, y'all don't want to have to wait for anything, right? So I'm working on it, right? I came home, got into the foundation. I got a temporary sponsor. I got a home group. I go to meetings. My first couple of days, y'all shared in the meeting. I was like, look, y'all just came home and I need help. I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do in my off time? And I found work within a week, and I'm making pretty good money. For my record, my background check, and my desire to not want to do nothing and get paid for it, I work hard for everything that I do, right? Now that I come to these meetings, and now that I start sharing what's going on with me, like when life hits me, like I start to see miracles working in everybody else's life, and that gives me some determination and drive to want to do better for myself. My relationships are still shaky, Like, I'm not getting everything back that quick. But I still do see some things going on that wouldn't be going on if I was out there getting high. Right? Like, I go to work every day. I pay my bills without having to flip the money. I can have a conversation with my mom that doesn't end with "thank you for using Global Tail Lane." Right? I can go to the store when I want to go to the store. I don't have to worry about somebody coming to put money on my books. Y'all don't have to worry about somebody not picking up the phone. Y'all don't have to worry about standing in line for mail when I know ain't nothing coming. Right? I haven't had to squat and cough since I came home. Right? That was one of the biggest things to me. Like, I felt less than. I felt like less of a man because another man told me to squat and cough and I had to do it. Right? Like, I got some responsibilities today. When I was locked up, they told me when to eat. They told me when to go to sleep. They told me when to do group. They told me when to stack chairs. They told me when to sweep the floor. They told me when to clean the shower. They told me all that shit. Right? They told me to stand up for count 5 times a day, and I couldn't stand it. But now, I don't have nobody telling me when to eat, so I might go hungry if I don't remember to do it. I don't know when to go to sleep, so I might be tired during the daytime when I gotta work. So I gotta take some responsibility, and I gotta do some things that I might not want to do because the rewards will be that much better later on. I try to have somebody with me that's clean at all times to help hold myself accountable because I'm not there yet. Like, when I'm by myself, that's when demons come out to play. Like, that's when I do what I want to do and can't nobody stop me. I'm getting better with the whole doing the next right thing even when nobody's looking. Right? Because there's still some guilt and there's still some shame when I do something wrong and don't nobody know about it. Like, I be feeling that now. Whereas before, I didn't care what happened. I was being selfish. I was being self-centered. It was all for one and all for me. But today my relationships are starting to build. Like, whether it be with friends, family, co-workers, girlfriends, baby mamas, all that stuff is starting to come together one day at a time. And it wouldn't be happening without this program. Because I know what the past has done for me. Like, it shows me what happens every time that I come home and get to running. Today I'm walking. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind taking it slow for today. Tomorrow might be something different. Tomorrow y'all might just be like, fuck it. But today I can say that I can pass a piss test for the first time in my entire life. Right? Like, when I was in those programs, locked up throughout my entire incarceration career, because that's exactly what it was. It was a career. Some people don't hold jobs just as long as I was locked up. Like, I was that guy that became Captain Recovery after the first time that I relapsed. And then I relapsed again. So it was some more guilt, some more shame, and some more disappointments that came my way from everybody that thought that I was doing so well, but I was hiding it. Right? Like, I put on this mask that I've been putting on all my life. And like, y'all always want people to see what they want to see. Y'all don't want to show them who I truly am. So when I come to the Recovery Foundation, I gotta definitely take off the mask. And I gotta tell people how I'm feeling. No matter how bad it may seem, somebody always got it worse. And somebody always don't make it back. Like, that's something that I gotta remember today and every day after today, is that people die every day from the same diseases that I got. Right? This is the only disease that you can tell yourself that you got it. But if you don't tell yourself, I mean, denial was real big for me. Like, I had a real hard time coming to terms with the fact that I had a problem using drugs and alcohol. Like, the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more was the only way that I knew how to live for 15 years. Right? So when they said, oh, you gotta surrender, you gotta get a gun, and I shied off. Like, I y'all didn't want to hear it. Like, for me to give up, talk about Shay, talk about the guy that doesn't give up doing anything when he sets his mind to it, right? They told me that y'all had to give up and give it all to God. And I had no experiences with God yet in the past, except for my little foxhole prayers. If you get me out of this one, I got you.
Yeah.
Please let the judge have a good day at work today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those were the type of prayers that I was used to. So when they told me that y'all had to find something that I believed in, I believed in drugs for so long that I didn't want to believe in nothing else, right? Like, I believed that yeah, as fucked up as I was a dressed up trash can, right? I got a fresh cut, nice pair of clothes on, and I weigh 160 pounds. I am 6'2". That shit does not work out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can go through my little Facebook and look throughout the years, right? That you could tell when I was getting high and when I wasn't getting high. Like, you could just look at the pictures, right? But you couldn't tell me that. Like, you couldn't tell me that I want everything that I wanted to be, right? But that was part of my mask. That was part of what I put on. So there was an everyday struggle for me to realize that I had to give up. And I had hundreds of people tell me, like, look, all you got to do is surrender. And I'm like, well, how do you do it? Like, that doesn't come in my blood. Like, I wasn't made for that. That was my first response, was that y'all don't give up. So how am I supposed to just, oh, yeah, it's simple, surrender, right? So y'all had to listen to some people. Y'all had to take some suggestions. Y'all had to make my life fit the program instead of letting the program fit my life. Like, I can't just do this shit part-time. Y'all can't do it when it feels, when I ain't got shit to do. Like, I gotta make time for this, just like I made time to get high. Like, I got high every day at work. So now, y'all do recovery every day at work. Like, while I'm eating, I make sure that I don't have a beer with me. I make sure that I'm not sitting with people that's drinking. I make sure that I'm not around people that's been smoking weed, right? Because just those little small things, like just the smell of weed is going to send me back on my way. Walking into the gas station, seeing a sale, y'all, on 30 packs, it's going to send me on my way if I'm not working no real program. Like, if I surround myself with people that's doing better, I'm going to do better. Simple mathematics. When it came down to it, right, is that I got clean and then had to go do some time. And that was God telling me that he wanted to make sure that I knew that this was the life that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was God telling me, that was my God telling me that, look, you got the right idea, but you need to think long and hard about what it is that you're missing out on. And what I'm missing out on is 3 state trays, a hard-ass cot, and some people with C pluses telling me what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to high school with half the deputies down Richmond. And I remember what their grades were. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, to have somebody on that level controlling my life, I don't want that. When it comes to being on the street ripping and running, I don't want the drugs to run my life anymore. Like, I want to be able to make my own decisions, and the only way I can do that is through the grace of God and this program. So please come and get you some. We'll be here waiting for you. So check it out, right? We also had some special requests. I want to thank everybody for sharing. Y'all all had something good to say. But we also got some special requests from somebody out from Monkey that wants to hear about how the steps work. Like, they said that people in the program weren't really buying into them. They really don't know how to make them work for you, right? Like, for me, the first thing is that I got to be honest, right? And I don't need to be worried about what the next man thinks about what it is that I'm sharing, right? Because somebody in the room is going to relate to what it is that you're sharing. Point blank period. We done all gone through some things, right? And your experience might save his life, right? And your experience is definitely going to save my life, because we done all been through something. So we're going to go around. We're going to start off with Cody, and he's going to tell me what the steps what the steps have done, what you could do to make the steps work better for you, or in the past, how not doing the steps have affected your recovery. We'll go ahead and start off.
I'm Cody, I'm an addict.
Cody.
First time I did step work, I was like, I just basically surrendered. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna write down every single step. I'm gonna write them all down, just so I got them on paper, my writing, so I understand it while I'm writing. And basically, basically what happened was, I started writing all the steps and stuff, and you know, I started doing them one by one. I started off at step 1, and I wrote out key words for like what each step means to me. For example, like the first step was like surrendering, you know, unmanageability, stuff like that. Second step, like higher power. You know, the first 3 steps are basically like surrendering and getting a higher power of any kind to be able to make NA, Narcotics Anonymous, work for you. And so that's what I did. You know, I went through every single step and wrote out the key words of each step. And then I branched off all the key words, you know, like character defects. I branched off and I wrote down, like, it was like a one of like a you know how they used to do them ovals in school, like a little oval type thing. But I had like a brainstorm, which with every single step I brainstormed with it, the key words. And then you know, when I ended up going home and relapsing, I wasn't doing no step work. I thought I was like, fuck step work. I don't need to do no damn step work. You know, nobody's making me do step work. Nobody's gonna tell me to do step work. I ain't doing no damn step work. I'm gonna just go to meetings. I got this. Like, I'm straight. I'm doing me. You know, and then you know, I ended up relapsing. What do you know? I'm always like, I'm at the point right now where like I know steps are important, and I know I need to do them, just to have something to you know, have something to concrete my foundation in Narcotics Anonymous. So like I need that concrete. Like, I'm a very abstract person as an addict. I think outside the box. I'm a dreamer. I'm always dreaming about where I want to be, where I think I should be, and where the fuck I need to be. I need to be right here in my body. But I also need to be thinking about all the decisions that I'm gonna be making. And that's where the steps come into place. The steps are concrete, and your thoughts on them are concrete too. That shit is not abstract at all. That's why they say follow the steps the way they're written, because every single step is concrete. It's not abstract. You know, and as addicts, I guarantee you every one of us sitting here are abstract people. We think outside the box, especially when we're using. Think outside the box. A lot of addicts are dreamers. They love to dream, you know, love to be in that comfortable place. And the thing about Narcotics Anonymous is, for me at least, you know, you could be in a comfortable place in Narcotics Anonymous and doing the right thing at the same time, and you're actually living. You're not just getting high and breathing like a fucking vegetable. That's how I am when I'm getting high. I'm a vegetable. And if I'm not a vegetable, then I'm a wild rooster with no head. So straight up. And so basically, you know, I need to, now that I'm back in the program and stuff, I need to just take my time. And then once I start getting on my feet again, you know, the first week for me is always hard. Back in, you know, new place. I'm not really from around this area, so I don't know a damn person throughout this entire neighborhood. I know people from the program, but I don't know nobody in Henrico. I swear to God, I don't know a single person in Henrico. I do not come around here at all. So it's new. It's always new for me. New place, completely new place. That's why I kind of hard the first week. But you know, once I get back on my feet, I need to start taking my time with the steps. I can't rush through the steps. I need to take my time with the steps. That's a perfect idea. You know, I take, I'm planning to at least be concreted down to the Narcotics Anonymous for a certain amount of time, or plan out like a 6-month game plan, 12-month game plan, 2-year game plan, whatever, vice versa. I could work one step each week. Say like this whole week is gonna be devoted to the first step. all week, I'm gonna think about the first step and what the hell I need to do for the first step to work for me, you know. And then the next week, I'm gonna do step 2, and I'm gonna think about step 2. And what the hell are they talking about? You know, what does that even mean? And I'm gonna think about it all day, every day. Anytime I feel like using, I'm gonna think about it, you know, and so on and so on. Third week, step 3, think about that. Write some stuff down before I go to sleep. And I think that's what I'm gonna do this time. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing.
My name is Brandon. I'm an addict.
Hey, Brandon.
You see, for me, man, my thoughts and my actions are two different things. Like, my intentions are good, man. I sit in those chairs, man. I'm like, I'm not gonna use when I get out, you know, and I have the best intentions. My thoughts are, you know, I'm not gonna do this or I'm gonna do this better, and my actions completely go otherwise. What the steps do is it lets me realize that my life is completely unmanageable, you know? That I have to surrender to a new way of thinking, like you said. I was that dude, right, that sat there in Henrico East, and we got to stand in front of this whole crowd over in 4B or whatever, and we got to recite our 12 steps in front of everybody in order to, you know, get your book signed or whatever, right? So I could write them all out, and I could recite them all to you. And I can tell you the words that are in the book, but I didn't internalize it, and I didn't apply it to my life. And I sat there and actually internalized these steps. I sat there in L-Pod, right? I got a composition book that we get, you know, and you write out all these steps, and you know, I can sit there and write until my hand goes numb. I can sit there and just close it, and then what the hell good does it do? You know, for me, it's not just like one step. You know, it's like 1, 2, and 3 are the most important things for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta admit that I'm powerless. Because if I don't, and my life is unmanageable, then how am I going to allow some higher power to come into my life to try to control that? I'm already trying to control it myself. You know, so what I do is, first off, I start my morning off by praying. I pray for God's will in my life. I'm not a religious person. I don't go to church a lot. I don't have all the, you know what I'm saying, the religious, you know, the habits that they have and all that stuff. No. But those terms that you were talking about, I call those spiritual principles. Those spiritual principles that I apply in my life don't just go for not using, because recovery for me is not just not using drugs. It's like a whole new way of life. You know, if I want to recover to the person that I was before, that person that I was before used. So I don't want to be that person that I was before. I want to be a new person. You know, I don't want to be that person that had used and picked up, because I know if I go back to that way, I mean, I'm destined to go back to where y'all are at right now. Y'all don't want to be there, and I don't want to be back there. You know, I mean, that's just the sour, sad truth of the matter, you know, and I'm sorry to have to put it like that, but I don't want to have to go back to there. I've done enough time in that. Life on the installment plan. This shit's crazy, man. I think applying the steps it's more than just even reading it too. When you get out, you got to get a sponsor. Those of y'all who don't know how to get a sponsor, get into a meeting when you first get out, your first day out of that jail right there, wherever y'all are at. Sit down, shut up, and figure out who's got some clean time. Figure out who's got what you want. And what that is, for me, is happiness. Whoever's happy, whoever is like working that program in their life, who has a smile on their face, who's going out with all the people after the meetings, who's at the meeting before and who's at the meeting afterwards, and who do you know is staying clean, and who's getting it, not who's got the nicest car, or who has, you know, the nicest crib and the nicest clothes, you know. Because I could be that dressed up trash can like Shay was talking about, you know. I get greasy as a pork chop quick. Man, I get out and whew, I don't even want to get into that. Anyways, the applying the steps for me is the major part of it. It's not just reading it. It's not just getting in the book. And when you're in jail, it's hard, man, because all you have is you and another person that's beside you to your own device, you know. And my brain sure as hell ain't no recovery tool. I'll tell you that. My brain is my sickest enemy. 'Cause my brain overthinks everything. And if I start overthinking these steps, and then shit, then it all goes to hell. You know, like, quick. My thinking's getting me into the worst positions. My best thinking got me right where y'all are sitting right now, numerous times. I hope y'all find a new way of life. Thanks for letting me share.
I'm Kurt. I'm an addict.
Kurt.
For those of you who have a skeptical feeling going into the steps, let me just say that the steps are the backbone of the recovery process. Without the steps, there would be no Narcotics Anonymous. There would be no better life, the better way of life. The 3 main ones that you need to focus on right off the start are the 1, 2, and 3. I can't, he can, so let me let him. You know what I'm saying? Surrender your will. Give it to God. Give it to something other than yourself. Let it be, if you don't believe in a God, let it be the people in the room who have been through these experiences that you're going through, who are still clean today. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. We're all insane. Like inside, like our insanity, all our thinking is irrational. It's diluted, you know, from years and years and years of polluting your brain with drugs. And when you finally surrender and you just give up, you know, what do you do? Now you're left with this freaking head full of shit. Like, what are you supposed to fucking do? So that's when you find a higher power. That's when you, all right, well, let me give this to him and let me see what happens. And then the third step is made a decision to let him work in your life. You know what I mean? To be able to witness these miracles, to be open-minded, willing to just take suggestions, to do all these things. When I'm doing step work, I'm still on step 2. I'm about to finish step 2 tonight, actually. And when I'm doing step work, like, I'll pray before I start writing it out, and you know, and that's why I have a sponsor. You get a sponsor to help guide you through the step work. That's all your sponsor is for. So don't go looking, like Brandon was saying, for the guy who's got the nicest shit and all this stuff. You want somebody who's going to guide you through it, who's been through the process. You know what I mean? You don't want them to be your best friend. You want them to hold you accountable. You want them to fucking yell at you if you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? At least for me, that's what I want my sponsor to do. Like, cause other people can see shit we're doing that we can't see for ourselves. You know what I mean? And so when I'm doing my step work, you know, I do it out the book, out the step working guide, and I'll write down the step, the question, and then I'll write, you know, my thoughts on the answer. And there's no right or wrong fucking answer. The key to this program is to be honest. Just write down what is in your head. That's all you gotta do. Write it down on fucking paper. Because there's something about it when you put pen to paper. I don't know, at least for me, and I'm probably sure for anybody who's worked steps, when you write it down on a piece of paper, it's like, I don't know, like someone said earlier today that when they were writing, you know what I'm saying, they'll write and they'll have a question and they can't fucking figure out the answer, so they'll write it down, and then half the time, he said, he was like, oh, you end up answering your own question. You know what I mean? And you know, that's so true. That's what the steps, like, we've got all this shit stuck inside of us in the steps. Like, you take away the drugs and we're still fucking left crazy. So then we get into the steps, and that's to dig down deep and to find out exactly why you're out there getting high. Why? What is driving you to do that? Like, what feelings, the deep emotional feelings starting from childhood. Like, I'm doing step work and looking back at shit from when I was a kid and noticing, like, holy crap, like, even before I picked up the drugs, I was an addict. Like, the way I do things, 110%, I do things my way. I fucking figure it out on my own. I don't have to have anybody show me how to do it. I can do it myself, you know? I mean, that's addict thinking. And that's, I mean, that's starting from, like, really young. I'm talking, like, 7 years old, like, playing sports and shit, like, wanting to be the best at everything I do. That's me, you know what I mean? And I obsess over everything. Like, I'm talking girls. Like, I'm in a good relationship, but I'd be lying to you if I'm going down the road not thinking, oh man, damn, that girl's sexy. Man, just constant. It's just random ass thoughts, man. And but with the steps, it gives you a freedom, man. It allows you the place to be able to go. For me, it's like a happy place, I guess. You know what I mean? Because when I'm doing step work, like, I just get this relief. You know what I mean? And no matter what I'm going through, I just feel like my life is progressing. Like, even if you get stuck on a step for months, like, don't let anybody ever tell you ain't working the steps fast enough. You know what I mean? If you're actually putting forth the effort and trying to do it, take your fucking time. Yeah, some might say it's a race to save your life, which it is, but at the same time, like, you don't want to just run through and be like, okay, I'm done, you know what I mean? Because you're not actually sitting down there and internalizing what you're putting down on paper. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, for me, the steps are the backbone of recovery. If you don't work the steps, 10 times out of 10, you're probably gonna relapse. And it may not happen quickly, but it will happen. I've seen it happen in a lot of people's lives. And you know, it happened to mine. That's why I'm saying that, you know. So come out and get you a sponsor and start working some steps and start getting down to the root of your disease, man, because that's what we have. We all have a disease of addiction, and it is incurable. They have not found a cure for this shit, and I doubt they ever will. So you know, let's get to it.
All right, I'm Mason. I'm an addict.
Hey,
Mason. So I just want to start by saying that I was in the same place. Like, I didn't think the steps were for me. I thought that I could do it on my own, and that it was just a bunch of stuff that might work for some people, but it wasn't really for me. So it took me a long time after coming to meetings and doing all that stuff for me to finally get a sponsor and then start actually doing the steps. And once I finally got a sponsor, we started talking about the steps. I got the step working guide out and started doing step 1. And I filled out all the questions and did everything like that. And then I started to go read back over it. And I didn't even have to read but just a few lines before I just threw it away, because I realized I was lying to myself in the whole thing, because I wasn't taking it seriously. And then after that, I mean, I had tried a few times after that, but never really got fully through, because I still wasn't taking it seriously. I still didn't want to give my will over to a higher power, and not even, like, I just didn't want to even think about anything like that. I was like, at the time, I was like, man, I don't really need all this God stuff. Like, I can, if I'm powerless over alcohol and stuff and drugs, then God's not going to help me or anything like that. And I always kind of had resentments about that whole kind of thing. And then just in the last 2 weeks, I found who my higher power was, and I just learned who that is. So, well, going back before, so I didn't really work the steps the way I should have. I just never really bought into it, and it went back to me relapsing and going back to jail and all that kind of stuff. So this time, after I finally found a higher power, which does take some time, I mean, it's something that happens when it happens. And so now I feel like I can't just do the steps for, like, realistically, because I mean, I know who my higher power is, and I know, like, actually what the steps really mean, because I didn't really understand what it was for. I just thought this is what people do just when they get in the program, and I mean, I didn't really think about how important it was. I just did it to do it, just for the sake of it. So, and just another thing about having a sponsor and all that stuff, I mean, I hadn't been going to meetings in the last month before I relapsed. I hadn't been talking to my sponsor barely at all, and he lived in the same house as me, and that just, I mean, I just was, basically planning my relapse. Just, I knew I was going downhill, and I didn't even want to stop it. And in my opinion, I feel like that all started from me not taking any of it seriously, just thinking that it was going to be easy, thinking I could just fly through it. So that's about all I got. Thanks for letting me share.
McShin. My name's Eric.
Hey, Eric.
I'm gonna make this quick, man, because we're running out of time. Basically, the steps are to make you look at yourself. If you really are done and you've hit bottom, or you just had enough, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, the steps are there to help you figure out why you ended up where you ended up and how to fix it. Like I said at the beginning, man, it takes work. It ain't gonna come to you just by a miracle. That's not the type of miracles that happen. You gotta take a look at yourself and figure out what it is that you need to work on to get aligned with the God of your understanding's will. Once you do that, life changes dramatically. You know, for me, God is a savior, not an enemy. And for the longest time, he was an enemy. And I got what I got because I did what I did. And, you know, so the steps are there to help you. If you're in Henrico and you're paying 3 soups to get them done, you ain't gonna get better. If you're in Pamunkey, I can only speak about those 2 programs. If you're in Pamunkey and you're in there gambling and doing what you ain't supposed to be doing, you're gonna end up back there. You know, if you're there and you're trying to do the right thing and people are trying to knock you off your horse, don't let them. just stand up for what's right. You know what's right, man. In your heart, you know what's right. If you want change and the others don't, stick to your guns, man. You'll get it. And when you get out here, you'll be accepted, and everybody else will be back doing the same old thing they were doing and end up right back in jail. So keep your head up strong, up high. Stay strong. You know, I know it's a lot of trials and tribulations in there, and don't let what other people think deter you from your path to get better. Because if you want it, you deserve it, and you'll get it. Pass with that.
Thanks for sharing. Hey everybody, my name's Shay. Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us for this week. We'll see you next week. We're gonna go ahead and close this up. Y'all want to thank everybody for sharing. Y'all did great. So we'll see you next time. We have a great way of closing beats. Come on, fellas. All right, go ahead, Cody. Close up.
Who brought us here?
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for the day, keep coming back. It works if you work it, you die if you don't, so work it and live. Woo! That's what I'm